Weird American laws.
Imagine this absolute madness at 5:47 a.m. in peaceful Berkeley, California. The sky is just turning that soft pink, birds are starting to chirp, and most normal people are still happily snoring. But not you. You're standing on your front porch in pajamas, hair looking like a bird's nest, desperately whistling as loud as humanly possible, "Tweety, Tweety, come home, little buddy!" Your beloved canary escaped through an open window again, and you're determined to call it back before the whole neighborhood wakes up. You're whistling louder and louder, adding dramatic trills, pacing back and forth like a mad conductor. Neighbors' windows start cracking open. Someone yells, "Shut up!" A slipper flies past your head. Then, red and blue lights slowly roll down the quiet street. A Berkeley police officer lowers the window, looks at you with pure exhaustion, and says in the most deadpan voice imaginable, "Sir, I'm going to need you to stop that whistling immediately. It's before 7 a.m. You freeze mid-whistle, lips still puckered. "But my canary is lost!" The officer sighs deeply. "I understand, but in Berkeley, whistling for a lost canary before 7 a.m. is considered unreasonable noise. You're disturbing the peace." You stare in disbelief. "It's a bird!" He nods solemnly. "Exactly, and that bird can stay lost until 7:01. Have a nice morning." Yes, this is real life in Berkeley, one of the most famously progressive, free-thinking cities in America, where it is, at least according to legend and old noise ordinances, illegal to
Subscribe and drop a like.
whistle for your lost canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley. This has to be one of the most hilariously specific, dumb laws ever created. Stick around because we're diving into the full ridiculous story, where it came from, why it exists, whether it's still enforced, and what happens if you try it. By the end, you'll be laughing, shaking your head, and maybe checking the time before you whistle for any pet. Let's go. Welcome to Toons USA, the channel where America's dumbest, weirdest, and most absurd laws get turned into bright cartoons, real facts, and non-stop laughs. Today, can't whistle for lost canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley. Dumb law. This isn't some dusty 1800s pioneer rule. It stems from Berkeley's long-standing noise ordinance, which restricts unreasonable noise in residential areas, especially during early morning quiet hours, typically before 7 a.m. Berkeley has always been serious about protecting sleep. It's a city full of students, activists, professors, and people who value their peace and quiet. Loud whistling at dawn, even for a beloved lost pet, can technically fall under public nuisance or disturbance of the peace. Over the years, this general noise rule got turned into the legendary version we all know. It is illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley. The story spread like wildfire on dumb laws lists, Reddit threads, and late-night comedy shows. People love it because it's so oddly specific. Why a canary? Why whistling? Why exactly 7 a.m.? It perfectly captures the quirky, overly regulated vibe that Berkeley is famous for. Let's animate the chaos for the cartoon. It's 5:55 a.m. A sleepy guy in mismatched pajamas is on his porch, whistling frantically with all his might. "Tweety, Tweety, come home!" Windows fly open across the street. Angry neighbors in bathrobes yell, "Keep it down!" Someone throws a newspaper. One guy in curlers shakes his fist. Suddenly, a police cruiser glides up silently. The officer steps out, flashlight on, and says, "Sir, cease the whistling. It's before 7 a.m. The man still puckered, "But officer, my canary escaped." The cop completely straight-faced. "Then your canary will have to wait until a civilized hour." Noise ordinance. In the background, the actual canary is sitting on a nearby tree branch, watching the whole scene like, "This is exactly why I left." The courtroom version is comedy gold. The defendant stands there holding a tiny, empty bird cage. The judge slams the gavel. "You were caught whistling for a lost canary at 6:12 a.m. How do you plead?" Defendant: "Guilty with an explanation. My bird was really lost." Prosecutor holds up a decibel meter. "Your whistling reached 78 decibels, louder than a lawnmower." Defense attorney, dramatically. Your Honor, it was a desperate rescue mission. Judge, fined $175. Next time, use a flashlight or wait until 7:01 like a normal person. Now, the fun what-if
Subscribe and drop a like.
scenarios for the cartoon. A romantic guy on his balcony at 6 a.m. tries to whistle a love song to call back his girlfriend's escaped canary. The neighbor calls the cops. This is worse than construction noise. An influencer films Lost Canary Rescue Challenge live at dawn, views exploding. Then police show up mid-whistle. Sir, this is a noise violation and terrible content. A group of Berkeley hippies stages a Free the Canaries protest, all whistling at 5:30 a.m. The whole block wakes up furious. Police arrive with megaphones. Cease the whistling immediately. A guy loses his canary at 6:59 a.m. He checks his watch obsessively, waits until exactly 7:01, then whistles so loud the birds in the next county hear it. Neighbor yells, "Finally!" Even if the exact canary whistling wording is more legend than literal statute, the underlying noise ordinance is very real. Berkeley takes quiet hours seriously, especially in residential neighborhoods. Loud, repeated whistling before 7 a.m. can lead to warnings, citations, or fines. So while you're unlikely to get arrested for one short tweet, waking up the neighborhood with enthusiastic bird calls at dawn is a quick way to make enemies. Bonus ridiculously specific California Berkeley-style laws: it was once illegal to ride a bicycle in a swimming pool. In some towns, you can't wear a fake mustache that makes people laugh in church. You can't throw a frisbee on certain beaches without a permit. And don't even think about driving an elephant down Market Street in San Francisco without proper paperwork. Berkeley and California specialize in these quirky, well-meaning rules that sometimes go a little too far. They reflect a city that cares deeply about community harmony, sleep, and not being disturbed by your dramatic canary rescue operation at sunrise. So, is it illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley? The noise ordinance makes loud early morning whistling a risky move. The canary version is the perfect silly legend that captures the spirit beautifully. If your bird escapes at dawn, maybe just open the window, put out some seed, and wait like a civilized person, or move to a city with later noise rules. If this story made you laugh, cringe, check the time on your phone, or say, "Only in Berkeley," smash that like button right now. Subscribe to Toons USA and hit the bell. New animated weird law story every day. Comment below, what's the craziest noise-related or pet-related rule you've ever heard in your city or country? I read every single one. Until next time, stay curious, stay legal, and never whistle for your canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley. See you in the next one.